2026 at 7 o'clock, and I'm calling the Hadley Climate Change Committee meeting to order.
It's June 11th?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I heard you say July.
Oh, maybe I did.
Maybe I'm
June,
looking forward to
June
July.
11th,
Okay.
June 11th. So, do we need a second to? No.
Second.
Okay, so we need to approve the May minutes.
I have one comment, just a clarification.
Okay.
On 3.2, it said for the bike share, that Kathy said there are monies available. I just want to make it clear, not town monies, that it's not town money.
Do you know what kind of money it is?
Grant, it was a grant that the Northampton hub received. That's all I know from what I
So
was
we
able
should
to
put
find
in
out.
parentheses, not town money.
I put it in the minutes here.
Oh, you added
Like,
it in?
Yeah, for clarification on 3.2, that
Okay.
it's not
Great.
town money.
Okay.
Yeah,
no.
that's all. Just want to make sure that's in the
May
record.
minutes. I'm just gonna say correction. Okay, so besides that, are we ready to approve?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody wanna,
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from May 2026.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, so I put this under new business. Did any of you guys have a chance? I forwarded this email that we received from the Union of Concerned Scientists about a display they have up in Forbes Library and the South Hadley Public Library. And it's basically a really deep dive into all the different ways and times that the oil companies have basically lied to the public and, been, what's the word I want? Fraudulent.
Deceptive, yeah.
Deceptive. And they are, I finally took a close look at, well, I think I took a close look at it this afternoon. I believe it's actually a fundraiser. They want to sue the oil companies, along with the many other people that are. So I put it under new business because I was thinking when I first looked at it, like, okay, cool, more, information about how bad plastics are. And I was wondering, do we want to ask them if we could have a display in our library? I don't know.
Do you feel you have a contact person at the Union of Concerned Scientists?
Well, I have the woman who emailed it to me, but now that I've read it, my feeling about it is our focus has been on trying to raise awareness about how unhealthy plastic is and wanting people to stop using single-use plastic, stop heating things, and, how it's affecting humans.
And what's this
This is just a legal thing.
about climate change?
Right, about how.
Right, I thought that was our focus, was climate
Well,
change.
It is. It is.
Okay, I just want to clarify that.
No.
Because that's why I'm here.
No. You're just being a pain, right? No, I mean, that's why I brought it up. Who thinks that it wants me to contact Hannah and ask her, I know it's late notice and they probably won't do it. I would also need to talk to Sue Brown about it, but should we request a display in our library?
Sure.
I mean, it's just drawing more awareness to the
Sure,
horrors
yeah.
of plastic.
Plastic or climate change?
No, the
The
things
oil
about
industry.
plastic, you obviously didn't look at it. I emailed
I thought it was
to you.
about climate change, but I must have gotten confused.
I thought it was oil industry also when I looked
It's-
at it.
It's about, the problem with oil is that it's causing climate change. That's true. But the focus of the display is how horribly deceptive they have been and outright liars to the public about the effects oil refinery and burning fossil fuels is having on the environment.
Okay.
So, I don't know, do you want to see the picture?
No, that's what I thought it was about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just got confused because you keep talking about plastics and
Oh, right.
Well,
So
So I think it's worth asking to
Okay.
see if it's possible. They might already have a system set up of after South Hadley and Forbes and Northampton, that it's supposed to go to East Hampton or Holyoke or
I
wherever.
don't know, it's something in the email says June is plastics awareness, or not plastic, I don't know why I keep saying that, I have plastics on my brain. I don't know, I'll just,
Could be plastics in your brain.
probably, I'm sure that that's true, besides the fact that I'm old. Okay, so anyway, okay, I
Yeah, So
will,
worth an ask.
yeah, ask Hannah. Okay. Okay. So, carrying over from the last meeting, our first update, God. Anybody come up with questions or topics that we would like a plastics expert to cover when they do a public speaking at the library? It'll be somebody from UMass, an expert from UMass. I mean, I basically want them to cover the same things that are in plastic ink. Which is, what's the first thing? That they're liars and blah, blah, blah. Also, that it's difficult to recycle. The biggie for me is that it's an endocrine system disruptor. And like, it seriously really is, like in real time. And also can, cause like the male fetus to not properly develop. That, microplastics are getting into our bodies, how unhealthy it is to eat food that's been in plastic, definitely don't heat in plastic, all that kind of stuff.
So that's a good list. Some of it's gonna depend on what the history of the speaker is.
Right, with their knowledge.
Right.
Well, I realize that, and that's why I'm glad they're asking what our questions are ahead of time. I mean, it's not really questions, because we've already heard from a bunch of experts, and now if anybody's read the book, but this is for public edification, not for the Climate Change Committee. So does anybody else, you guys have?
Well, have you been to any of these sessions of the science stories?
I went to one.
Okay.
I
So
wasn't all that
have you,
impressed, to
Kathy?
tell you
Not
the
yet,
truth.
yeah.
So what they do is they'll find different experts. So Julie Brigham Gretty was interviewed 3 or 4 months ago, and she told her whole life story and the connection to climate change and everything else. So they often take the person's expertise.
I don't want to hear about the person. I want the person to talk about the topics.
But I'm saying that they often drive this based on the person's biography.
Right, I felt like Julie, I've heard her speak before, and she was much more forthcoming about the importance of the work that she's doing and what it is revealing about climate change and how fast the Arctic is heating up and all that. This time she talked more about her whole history and it was more just about her,
Yeah,
and I was like,
but that's part of the point behind science stories, is really bringing
Right.
out the story of that particular scientist.
yeah, I'm gonna talk to Sue about that, because I just feel like the information that we have learned in the last year, I mean, a lot of that was new to me, and I think you guys too, and I just want to get it out to the public, so.
And so I'm not sure how complete of a list we have so far, but the whole health issues behind it is a real concern. Food, you talked about food connection, both packaging and heating of food.
Yeah,
And I guess I wonder, as a citizen, it seems like there's a tsunami of plastic. What can we do to push back? It's all around us.
legislation. I mean, in the book, it tells how in Europe they have about, I don't know, it was a very long list of regulations pertaining to plastic. Can't do this, you can't do that, you can't have this, like, all kinds of things. And we have like 2 or 3. So, I think the only way to curb it is to make laws about it, you know? I mean, but people can take those steps if you know that pretty much tiny little pieces of it are rubbing off every plastic thing that exists, then at least some people will go, whoa, I'm going to use less plastic. I mean, that's one way people can just help themselves and minimize their own plastic poisoning. So anyway.
Do we have a contact with the folks at Science Stories?
Sue is doing
Sue
it.
does, okay.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's the only way she can find a speaker.
I think that's one of the best ways.
Okay. So, I guess I'll talk to her about that. Whatever list. Kathy wrote down everything, so I'll get in touch with her about that. Okay. Anybody have anything more to say about that? All right.
I kind of am interested in, like, the history of this. I feel still, for the general public, this is a very new topic to them. And personally, learning more about how the research is being done in this field. Like, who's out there studying what's happening in the human, who's out there studying what's happening in the environment,
So
who's
will you
out
write
there
that down?
studying the plastic itself and the
Add that to the
degradation.
list, because that's important. Anything like that you would like this person to talk about, please write it down. Okay, 4.2, green communities. All right, so here's what is happening with those projects. So far, we've had the sewer plant lighting upgrade. We've had door replacement and some weatherization around those doors at both Hadley Elementary and Hopkins. And AEG finally did some work for us, $7,000 worth of air sealing at Hopkins. As far as that area above the stage that needs insulation, we just have not gotten, well, Kyle at AEG just made it sound like it was too hard for them. So Chris went ahead and contacted Energy Source. They gave him a great proposal, and Jane Fitzer at Mass DEP approved it, and so they are going to do insulation above the stage for $19,949 over the summer.
And we have that money in the account.
Right, we have a lot of money in the right now. After that, if you go ahead and subtract that from the balance, we still have almost $78,000 to spend. So, still no insulation work has been done at Hopkins. After all this time, if you remember, AEG said they were going to do insulation last summer, never did, and then Kyle was like, oh, whoops, you have to do the air sealing first, so we'll do that. Then he came up with this proposal to do almost $32,000 worth of insulation. Here's the proposal. It's like north wing wall, chemistry room wall, kitchen wall, and then using some kind of, it's called intumescent paint. And after an estimated utility incentive, which a lot of the incentives have changed. Like, we're not getting any incentive applied to the cost for the insulation above the stage.
Kathy, what rooms again?
It doesn't really matter because we're not going to go with this.
Oh, all right.
It's a really, I'm sorry, but stupid proposal because it still leaves us with $29,000. I mean, Kyle has known for over a year that we need to spend all of this grant money by February and have the work done by February. So he comes up with this really puny, we need a lot more insulation at Hopkins than this. And so it's like, what is he thinking? So, Chris is going to get contact Energy Source and Kyle and say, no, this is not good enough. We need to spend $77,807 before February. So figure it out for that amount of money. Like, what do we need done for that? And,
That's a question for AEG, or that's a question?
he's gonna get it from both. I think
Both-
he
both
should just,
who?
from Energy Source and AEG.
Well, I mean, you don't want to ask them how to spend the money.
Right,
You
how
want
does-
to
what does
ask,
the
you
school
want to,
need?
you want to have the school propose a list of things that we want done in excess of the money that we have, and then you choose up to
Well,
that
that's
amount.
why, I mean, he's already done that. And anyway, Energy Source was the ones, they did our energy audit to become a green community in the first place. So they're very aware of what's going on in that building. And Chris already has a very good idea of the priorities. Ventilation or insulation is the next step in that building. And, what do you call it? Eversource, that guy, Nick Papitas, had Eversource come in and do like a big, huge scoping study of both of the buildings. And what they came up with was that Hopkins, the amount of insulation that Hopkins need would cost $100,000. And that was Kyle's original proposal, was that I think it was 99,000 for all the insulation that's needed at Hopkins. But that's not what he's saying now. We just need to use the money, get on with it. There's lots of work that can be done at both of the schools.
And Chris is kind of driving this now over the summer.
Well, I'm hoping he's gonna get those proposals like soon. I mean, Energy Source was very responsive when he contacted them. They got over there, they had a look at it, they came up with the proposal. And it's, if you want to see it, it's a very, I mean, I didn't even print all the pages of it because they were coming out wider. But it's a really here's their proposal compared to the ones that Kyle does, which are this little dinky table. So it sounds like you're having a problem with this.
No, I'm just trying to get clarity, and I don't want you to go on record that we just have to spend the money.
No, I'm
That's
sorry
not-
if I sound like that. It's
yeah,
that there's
'cause that's not
so
what you-
much
that's
work
not-
to do.
Okay,
There's a ton of work to do, and all the experts have told us, you begin with the envelope of the building, seal the leaks, improve the insulation.
so have we sealed the leaks?
I don't know if we've even sealed all the leaks. AEG did $7,000 worth of air sealing.
Okay, and Chris is,
The
Chris
business
Desjardins
manager.
is the
He's the
school
business manager
business
for Hadley
manager.
Public Schools.
okay,
So I suggested, rather than continuing on with AEG, oh my God, please get in touch with somebody else and have them come in there and say, okay, what needs to be done next? Here's how much money we can spend, and that we need, do this amount of work
Yeah.
that would cost this much, which I know that sounds funky, like spend our money. That isn't what I mean.
no, we want to give them a list of tasks to do,
Right.
and
Right.
How many of these tasks can you get done for the
Right.
dollars
Well,
we
he's
have
got
left?
a whole list. So that's what's going on with that, and I'm just checking my email every day, hoping that we will hear a proposal from Energy Source, like, soon. And that, we can get this work done over the summer.
Something to consider if you want to do like an early July meeting. Chris might have a little more time. to
That's what I was
process this.
thinking, that maybe we should have him come to the July meeting. Yeah?
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, it's time to just
Yeah, we had him
reset and
come
figure this
like
out.
one time last year, and I think it's good for him.
Yeah.
Kind of refreshes everything. Okay, ask Chris.
In a time when money is tight, to have this money available is a real benefit. It's just a matter of getting it spent in the right way.
Correct.
Well,
Yes.
absolutely, but also to get the work done. I mean, it has dragged, what is this, into the third year now?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not uncommon with a lot of schools, though, that these processes just take forever.
no,
to
but
get it
but AEG,
accomplished.
that's ridiculous. I mean, when Scott or Gary Berg contacted Kyle about the upgrade, the lighting upgrade, or I guess it was even Kyle's idea in the first place, I don't even remember now. And they said, and we all agreed, yeah, okay, do it. After 4 months, they still hadn't done the work, so they hired somebody else to do it. And just,
Who, I know I came on board after this was all set. Who is driving this? Is it our business manager of the schools? Is it,
we are,
and Gary Berg for the town?
no, we are driving it.
In
I
Because
mean-
it feels
conjunction
like
with-
AEG or Energy Source
In
seems to
conjunction
be.
with Chris, he's driving it as the business
Yeah.
manager for the school.
So the way it evolved is,
No, I just wanna know who's in charge and who's gonna tell AEG you're doing this work, or Energy Source you're doing this work.
Chris
Cause
Desjardins.
it's sounding the opposite to me. It's sounding like Energy Source and AEG are saying,
No, Chris
what's
got in
happening.
touch with
Yeah.
with Energy Source
Right.
about the area above the stage,
okay,
which is in dire need of insulation. There's nothing up
Right.
there.
okay,
And they gave him a proposal, and he sent it, into Green Communities to be approved. She just emailed back today, you're approved, so now they can go ahead and do the work, which Kyle never did. He was like, well, we have to take the wiring down, and
Well,
well,
who feels comfortable in
confused.
seeing if Chris is even available for our July 9th meeting?
I will. I mean, I'm the one that's mainly in touch
Yeah.
with. Yeah, I mean, he has our energy reduction plan. And I'm always saying to him, let's refer to the plan that's prioritizes what's sucking up the most energy or where we're losing the most heat, however you want to say it. It's all prioritized. What we should do between years 1 and 4, like what are the priorities to do, which that's what I mean, some of this, I don't know that somebody had identified those doors, but he brought up that they were leaking so
Mhm.
badly and we should really get that done. So pretty much we're sticking to the plan that Energy Source came up with at our initial energy audit when we became Green Communities. And so I've been pushing, I mean, it's a really good plan to Chris, let's kind of stick
Mhm.
with that plan because it's pretty detailed and it's all, how much money we would save, how much energy we would save and all that stuff. But he's in the buildings and so he knows of other things. So instead of just saying, well, including his expertise too. So, but he's got, just like everybody, every town employee, he's got a lot on his plate with all this budget stuff. And so the last few months, I mean, I'm getting kind of impatient, and I didn't want to hassle him about it, but this is going on, we need to do this. Anyway, so I feel pretty good. It's some progress. At least he did go on and move away from AEG, who basically has done very, very little for us. Says they're gonna do a lot, but they never get around to it.
It sounds like you have a plan in mind of getting him back here and to talk about next steps.
mhm.
Right, but in the meantime, I mean, well, I already said to him, would you please get proposals from both of them?
Yeah.
Because the chances of AEG actually physically doing
Yep.
what they say they're gonna do is, in my opinion, slim to none. So, and Energy Source, just, you know. All right, so anyway, I'm repeating myself. So anyway, that's what's going on with the schools. 4.3 composting. This is so cool. Hadley Elementary Student Council is working on a plan to start separating out food waste for composting at lunchtime.
Where would they take the waste?
Martin's Farm.
Okay.
So I talked to the principal a couple of days ago. I have a meeting with her on the 25th, and also a young man who I guess was a student there. There's a personal connection with the teacher who was in charge of the student council. Knew somebody who was really into composting, like backyard composting, and had him come in and talk to the student council, like brought in, you know, kitchen scraps and then some compost from his backyard composter, and like, here's what happens. So, but that's about as far as they got. So, when I heard about it because I had Annabelle with me, my granddaughter with me, who's on the student council. She's in 5th grade at the elementary school. And we were going up to Martin's Farm to get compost. And she's like, oh yeah, Nana, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. We've been wanting this to happen for years. So I talked to Jennifer about putting the brakes on the town. Remember at the last meeting we decided we didn't have really a good purpose for this a little over $4,000 that's in the RDP account, and we might as well just let the town use it on office supplies or whatever. So this is a way better way to use that money. So I went in to see Jennifer. She's already spent $435 of it, but she agreed, okay, we won't buy any more paper or anything with it. Use it for the composting. I talked to somebody at Casella today because that's where the dumpster will come from, and that's who's doing that's who does the pickup of the food waste at our transfer station and takes it to Martin's Farm. So he was trying to tell me that for the amount of food, I did a food waste audit at the elementary school 4 years ago, and I assume it's still accurate because I still have about the same number of students. And at that time, they were producing 58 pounds of food waste per day. So that comes to like almost 300 pounds a week. Well, I don't know. When I called Casella before I'd actually done the math to figure out what size dumpster they would need. Anyway, he was trying to talk me into a 4 cubic yard dumpster, which seemed kind of large to me. So I Googled it. And Google AI says, no, you need a 2 cubic yard dumpster. Here's, you know, for that amount of food waste, and it's going to settle, it'll only use up about a third of that anyway. So I called Casella back and talked to a salesperson there, and she said, yeah, that's more like, you don't need a 4. Anyway, she's going to have somebody call me back, because I got a price for the 4 cubic yard, which would come to about, did I bring it with me?
And Casella's willing to use a 2 cubic yard dumpster?
Well, that's how they come, 2, 4, 6, 8. I think it's better to, I didn't bring it with me because it's too much money anyway. It's almost $3,000 a year for a 4 cubic yard. Or for 4, coming once a week. So hopefully it'll be a little less than that.
Because they don't have to come in the summer.
Right, it would be for, I guess, 10 months.
Okay.
And anyway, so there's still a lot to work out, but the good news is what Annie McKenzie was saying she needed to have happen in order to get this going was interest from the kids and a teacher, and Mrs. Dowd, the principal, is gung-ho. She said, I want this to be a green school. She said, I really want to do this. I've already talked to the kitchen. They're all on board. They're fine with it. And so we're going to have a meeting with this young man that came, because he said he would help, like, get it up and running. And the director of the kitchen and me and the principal on the 25th. So,
One person you may want to consider talking to is Amy Donovan out of Franklin County.
Well, I will.
She manages a lot of
no,
this.
I know.
Almost all the Franklin County schools do composting.
I know, she's got a video
Yeah, okay.
that we can, that the kids can see for how to set it up in the lunchroom. So I do
So
intend to get in touch
assuming
with
that
her.
it costs about somewhere under $4,000, not much less, because most of the cost is driving the truck there every week.
Yeah,
What, is there a budget for that?
what do you mean?
Well, is the school gonna pay for that?
No, that's what I'm saying, is this RDP grant, the recycling dividend grant.
Okay.
That the
the-
town gets.
Right, every year I do this lengthy
And how much is that
application.
a year?
We've been getting, it varies, usually around $4,000.
Great, great.
But we haven't spent it all.
Yeah,
So
that-
as of right
that's
now,
perfect, yeah.
there's a balance of, I brought it with me, where is it? 7,000 something
Great.
in there.
Well,
It's
good work.
already, we're
That's-
already spending 1,300 of it for 20 more backyard compost bins, 1,000 for the shredding event, 400 so that the town residents can participate in the household hazardous waste day. And then Jennifer spent 435, so it leaves, what is that? I brought it with me. Hold on.
It sounds like you have money.
Yeah, we have,
Yeah.
Great.
yep, it will cover, here it is. Right now, I mean, the current balance is $7,775.81. After the already, like, the same expenses we've had for like the last 3 years, plus the money that Jennifer spent on paper, it leaves an available balance of $3,940. So it's not gonna take all of that.
But the
get-
important thing is that it's gonna be close to that. The important thing is that this money comes in every year and it's around $4,000, and you can designate it for this.
I can, but we have money, other money coming in. I mean, we spend 1,300 on 20 backyard compost bins to sell to residents, but they pay 25
Okay.
for them. So half of that, 750, comes back into
Okay.
this account. Plus, as soon as the school starts doing this compost operation, that gets us like at least 2 more points, and each point is worth $365. So they're gonna be earning some of the money, and we get, I think, 2 points because they use reusable dishes at lunchtime and a dishwasher rather than throw away stuff. So the schools are kind of earning some of this. If I can get her to also do a textile collection box, then we'll get even more points.
So this is a long time coming, but this is,
Yeah.
this is a great
Mhm.
coup
Yeah.
on your part.
Yeah. Well, it's not me, it's them. You know, they
Yeah.
finally,
The push didn't hurt.
no, but I have not been pushing them. I mean, Anna McKenzie was very clear, like, somebody at school has to get you know, it has to come from them, and the
Sounds
kids.
like it's there.
Yeah, the
That's it.
kids, they're the ones who are like, hey, we should be composting, like, why are we throwing food in the trash? So, anyway, so that's what's happening with that.
Great.
I put the landfill solar on here, wondering if you might have something to
Sure.
report on that.
Tomorrow at 1, we have a virtual meeting with Power Options and Select Energy. And Select Energy is, let me back up and say that Power Source was the original company that had agreed to, and that the select board had agreed to enter into a memorandum of understanding to proceed with the project. Apparently, some of their federal money of power that company.
Power source. Or
Select
select
Energy.
energy.
Solar, Sun Wealth, forgive me, Sunwealth. Their federal money, bonds, something fell through. I don't know. It's not.
So wait, who is Sunwell?
Sunwealth was the company that we were gonna, that had been chosen to proceed with the
Oh,
project.
okay,
through-
original.
Okay. They've pulled out, Select Energy has pulled in. Select Energy is the designated company that's been vetted by Power Options to work with municipalities. So
Okay.
we should have been working with them from the beginning,
Who's
apparently.
Power Options?
Power Options is a nonprofit that is set up to help municipalities and nonprofits
Do what
Do-
we're trying to do.
solar
It's the
installations.
one we pay a little fee for their
Yes.
services.
Yes.
So Select Energy,
So Select Energy
Is
is
the
the
company
company that's going to be presenting what they, you know, what they can do and what we need to do as a town to make it happen. And Power Options will be introducing them. That's going on tomorrow. It's a formal, duly announced meeting of the Solar Committee Task Force, and so it's progress. Everything has to move pretty fast right now because on the 4th of July, there will be fireworks going off and the federal tax credit that this project is dependent on goes away
Oh, I thought it already went away.
if you have not, you can get into what is called a safe harbor by expending 5% of the project's cost before July 4th. Then you are considered a project in the works that is occurring, and then you can get your tax credit. Select Energy apparently has the capacity to do that, to invest 5%. It owns enough equipment already that it can designate enough of it toward this project that it will qualify for the safe harbor standing and therefore for the federal tax credits
So
down
it
the
sounds
line.
like tomorrow is a really important meeting.
Well, tomorrow's an important meeting for us to hear what they have to say, to hear what their proposal is.
And then will you give them an answer on the spot, yes or no?
Well,
Go ahead, or?
you know, we're not empowered to
They're not
do
the
that,
deciding body,
but
yeah.
we have hired, the town, through the select board's decision, has agreed to hire Power Options to pursue this. And they are going to, you know, recommend that we deal with Select Energy. My guess, I'm speculating right now, my guess is that they'll want us to, you know, do the memorandum of understanding that we were going to do with the previous company, to do that
Sunwealth.
with Select Energy, with Sunwealth, to do the same thing with Select Energy. My guess is it'll be a lot of the same language, so hopefully town council, which has been reviewing that document for quite some time now, will be able to.
Like, it needs to
will-
all happen before July 4th, is what you're saying, right?
Yes, and
So will
yeah.
Power Options be at your meeting tomorrow?
yes,
Oh, good.
and they will tell us exactly what steps we need to take as the town.
Is somebody from the select board near you?
David Phil will be on the meeting, and the new town manager,
Nate Malloy.
Nate Malloy, cannot make it, but we are gonna just bring him up to date on it,
Lake City?
on Tuesday.
Mhm.
Awesome.
We have a meeting.
Where will this meeting be held? Or
It's
is
a
it
virtual meeting, so you're welcome to
Teaching.
come to it, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How would we find out about it?
It's on the town
Okay.
it's
website.
posted.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
You'll be there, right?
I won't be there, I'll be in a truck, but I will be on my phone in the meeting.
Oh, dear God. Well, that's what I meant, there somehow.
Thanks for moving this forward yet again.
Well, it's, you know, it'll be nip and tuck.
Yeah,
I'm not clear exactly what we have to do between now and July 4th, and I'm hoping to learn that tomorrow. My sense is that we don't have to do that much if they're willing, you know, it's their project at this point.
Yeah.
And they need to hear from the town that the town wants to work with them. The town has to determine, you know, that it's a decent enough deal, and has to have,
So then
and they
wait.
have to have faith in Power Options, that that's what Power Options does, is they make sure that deals are decent enough.
Yeah.
They bid everything. They've selected Select Energy as the company.
So I guess David Phil will go back to the select board at the next meeting and present it, and they'll vote, and hopefully
I assume
that's
so. I
probably
mean, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
timing
I don't
is
know what
quite
the next.
tight.
very tight.
Yeah.
I
They
don't know
meet
what the-
twice a month, so I think like the week of the 20-something would be the next
Okay.
select, like not this week, but next,
Isn't it first and third Wednesdays?
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
what it has
So
been.
when is your meeting? Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Wow, stuff's happening finally. It's exciting.
No, nothing's happening yet. but we're-
Well,
we're
it might
kicking,
happen.
We're kicking
You
the
know,
ball
let's cross
forward
our
and
fingers.
crossing our fingers.
So you're meeting with Power Options and Select Energy.
They're going to make a presentation to us tomorrow and tell us,
Okay.
you know, what needs to happen.
And Select Energy. Okay. Well, cool. Okay. Topics for next meeting.
Well, hopefully we can hear back on what happened at your meeting tomorrow.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So follow up on, well, everything on the updates. Follow up. Plastics expert, Green community stuff. HES combusting. And solar.
Has anything come up from the select board about bike sharing in town, or would that be something that we would have to push?
You were gonna get in touch with them about that, right,
With
Kathy?
Jennifer, yeah. But apparently somewhere along the line, it showed up in Nate Malloy's update to the select board that David Phil posted online.
Yeah.
It was mentioned in there.
Okay,
So the town hall is talking about it also.
okay,
Is my impression.
yeah.
Great.
So are you still gonna try to meet with her
Mhm.
in, when did you say, in September about it?
No, in July, hopefully.
Okay.
I mean, if, you know,
So should we put that on the next meeting agenda, July
no.
9th? No?
It won't be before our
Okay,
next
we'll
meeting.
wait.
August we'd hear about it.
Right, right.
Okay, cool. So anything else?
This is a little out there. It seems like we're branching out. I mean, all of these topics, of course, are related to climate change, but not necessarily directly anymore. Should the name of our committee change a little bit to reflect that? So Climate and Sustainability Committee, rather than just Climate Change Committee. The topic for
I mean,
next
that
agenda
sounds
to
like a
talk
good
about.
title to me.
I don't know.
We've talked about this before,
Yeah, I
right?
wonder, do we know who our liaison is to the select board?
I think
I
they're
think
picking
they said they were
Wednesday.
going to take that
Okay.
up at their next meeting.
Because that can be helpful, you know, to find out who that representative
Mm.
is and see if there's a better sort of marketing strategy for
I
us.
mean, I think what you called it, climate and
sustain-
sustainability, is more accurate.
For the
It
work we've
describes
been
more
doing.
accurately what we're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah. But we can talk about it at our next meeting. Thoughts, Michael?
I think that's a good suggestion because I feel like we are broadening our scope. Personally, I think it's our focus should be laser focused on climate
Okay.
change. that's just my own personal opinion, and I know it's not shared by everybody, so I don't wanna impose that. I just think that, it is coming down at us like a train
Oh, yeah.
at 90 miles an hour, and,
Yeah,
and that should be our
Well,
that
on
should
that-
be our
on that
primary
note,
focus.
yeah.
Kathy, I think you brought up, and we didn't talk about it this time, but do we want to talk to the select board, or do we want a bylaw or something requiring that all new municipal buildings have solar on them?
And
That's
that has
huge.
to go through the bylaw
I know.
committee and all
Oh,
of
it's
that.
huge, but
Yeah.
she brought it up a while back as
Yeah,
if,
the last
But
meeting, I
that's a
think.
different topic.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I agree that it's huge, and in my opinion, the way to go at it is, rather than trying to draw up a bylaw that people will go, just get on the committee, on the, if whatever new building, like right now, I think the only one we're talking about is a DPW.
So are you presenting this as a topic for next agenda?
I'm
I
just,
think it's kind of related to talking to the select board about what's our
the
mission.
scope, yeah.
And is there a need for some
I mean,
shifts
in our,
mission
I mean, if you
statements?
read our mission statement, you know, stay aware of the town's ecological footprint. In other words, how we're using energy, where we're wasting it, so on and so forth. And to, basically, I take the second one to mean, stay on top of what we can do about that and advise the select board accordingly. So becoming a green community sort of encapsulated all of that. And now we have this big energy reduction plan that hopefully, we can get this work done on these buildings, which will minimize our contribution to climate change.
Yeah. I think, now I'm starting to think a little bit more about
Yeah.
this whole topic about what should our mission be. It's like, if we did agree that should be our singular focus, then we are clearly not focused enough on spending this money, not spending the money,
The green
insulating
Yes,
the
Yeah.
doing,
school.
exactly.
Well, I'm trying.
And I know we are, I know,
Yeah.
but you're doing a lot of other stuff too.
Well,
And-
not really. That's the main, I mean, I also have this position of recycling coordinator.
Mhm, mhm.
So, I mean, Jane used to think of that as, she told people who were coming for the shredding event that the climate change committee sponsored that. Well, you guys didn't really have anything to do with that.
Good.
Comes out of the RDP grant.
Yep.
Even
RDP stands for,
Recycling Dividends Program.
okay,
And,
it's the bottles that don't get turned in.
what? No, you get points for what you're doing.
No, but the money
Oh.
is is that the money that the state has because people don't return all their bottles?
I really don't know.
I think it is.
I don't know where the money, I just know it comes from Mass DEP. That's all I know.
Okay.
It's like,
Okay, go
maybe
ahead.
at one time I knew, but
Okay,
I don't
sorry.
anymore.
Go ahead.
And all I know is that, it takes me about a week to do the application. They ask a lot of details. I have to talk to Solid Waste Solutions every year about, how much of this, that, and the other thing the transfer station brought in. They just want to know every possible thing that we are doing, and you get points for it.
So, Michael, where were you going with this?
I just feel like as a committee, hang on, I'm just finding the answer to your question, or our question, but no. We ought to be doubling down. That's my personal, we ought to be doubling
I agree.
down on you ought to be getting the assistance you need from me or somebody else on this
Yeah.
committee to make sure that, that's been dragging on too long.
No,
And that's what we were formed for.
Yeah.
And that is the train that's coming down to hit us. And that is like one way to slow that train down. And
Yeah. And here's the problem.
Yeah.
Because we're still holding on to the original designation fund,
exactly, I
we
get
can't apply for new
I
grants.
understand
Well,
that.
okay,
so
so
I don't
let's
think we
get-
should. I don't think we should be. So my my feeling is now I'm feeling more strong about your question is that no, we shouldn't be renaming this committee. We should be focusing on getting done the job that we started.
I agree. So let's bring Chris to the meeting on next
If he
meeting
can make it, yeah.
and, emphasize with him. I would gladly have somebody else speaking up about this besides me,
Okay.
pressuring him
Yeah.
to like get on with it. I mean, he's the designated person for getting the estimates, getting these proposals. I mean, there's a bunch of steps. There's a lot of paperwork in using this money, but this is the way to make our
And
buildings.
does Chris have to do that, or can we do it for him?
No, he has to do it. He's the designated person for the schools, and Gary Berg, you have to be a town employee to do this stuff.
Well, and Gary Berg is
Is
nearing
it-
retirement
I
as
know,
well.
so
all
I
the more
don't,
reason
I'll have to get in
push.
touch with Scott about
Gary Berg's position is,
maintenance
buildings,
foreman,
coordinator,
facilities
buildings,
foreman.
facilities manager,
He's
something
like
that.
Scott's second in command.
I mean, it's money that the school is spending every year in heat going out
I
the window.
know, I
You know.
know, that's why I talk about
Oh.
this
Yeah.
every meeting.
Okay.
I'm trying to get Chris to do this,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the nudger,
Okay.
you
Well,
know?
we need to back you up, I think, and
Okay, so we'll bring him to the
yeah.
next meeting and you can all get in his face about it, or however you
Yeah,
wanna say it.
and keep in mind, just because I'm in schools every
Mm-hmm.
day, it's been a heck of a year with changes in healthcare and all of this, so he's just, everybody
Well,
is-
and
is-
getting rid of employees. I mean, you
Yeah.
should see Jennifer's desk now. Oh my God, it's like if she doesn't have a breakdown, it will be a miracle because now she's the human resources person. There stacks of like,
What
okay,
kind of
so
on
this
topic?
is like
Yeah,
three
you-
different things I have going on.
Let-
She must have
let's-
500 stacks
Yeah.
on her desk. It's just crazy.
That's off the agenda
Yeah.
and all
Okay,
that,
all
but-
right. Anyway,
But there's plenty of topics for next agenda, especially if we can get Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay, so
no one here
That's
for
an
public
important
comment?
one, yeah.
Yeah,
all right. So are we done?
Can you send us, can you try to educate us, like via email? It's a lot of work for you, but,
What?
That
Pretend
email
we're
you sent
idiots.
me,
okay,
Yeah.
and
Wait, let him
who
finish.
is Chris Desjardins? Who are all the actors? Who are the contractors?
See, you need to, there's like this long chain of emails with all these people which you have never been on. You want me to add you to it?
I don't want to, what I'm hoping for is just a little bit of a synopsis
Okay,
of what
okay.
hasn't been done and what has been done, and who the actors are.
Okay.
That would be really helpful in anticipation of
Okay.
this meeting.
and one important actor for everyone to be aware of is Mimi.
Mm-hmm.
Mimi Kaplan, who is with PVPC, Pioneer Valley Planning
Yeah.
Commission, who has been helping also.
But she's not doing it out of the goodness of her heart.
No.
The town
Right.
hired her.
Right.
She is one of the expenses of our Green Communities grant. It's a little
And-
over $9,000, and she does,
She does the paperwork
she
related
does
to
the
this,
section
all
of
that.
paperwork that then goes to Green Communities that has all the different things that they want. Which is,
Okay, but is she germane to this actual school installation? Is there something
Yes.
that she needs to do, and what is it that she needs to do for the
no,
school?
it's not up to her to hire anybody.
Okay.
It's up to, between us and Chris Desjardins to get proposals,
I
get
understand that.
estimates,
And-
and hire somebody.
And then what does
One-
Mimi have to do with that project at the school?
Once he has a proposal and we want to accept it, then he sends it to Mimi,
Okay.
and there's all this stuff that
And my
has,
understanding, that's already been done for the school. They've approved this project, correct?
this one particular project, the insulation above the stage. Every different piece of work has to go through the same process where whoever, all right, here's a good way to explain it. Whoever's, see this? Utility incentive, electrical, how much it's gonna save us, kilowatts and cost, and I'm sorry, I couldn't
Yeah.
get it to be narrower. And then in fuel, how much and the cost. You have to give all of this information to Mass DEP.
In order to
you know,
get,
it approved.
in order to get the money approved, basically.
To get the project approved.
Okay, and
So
that's
why don't
only,
you-
and
why
that's
don't you-
only been done for the school stage at this point.
And the
No.
lighting.
No.
Door replacement,
Yeah.
air sealing.
Okay, so
And-
It's been
and
done
here,
for a few
it-
projects.
Take
But-
this. These are the projects that have already been completed, okay? We've completed these.
Okay.
This, at the time.
Completed or done?
Done,
Okay,
done,
great,
done.
wonderful, wonderful.
Proposed,
Great.
approved,
Great,
work
Okay.
done,
okay.
and paid for.
Okay,
The
so
next
that's
in
9,
line-
13, 24, about $30,000, $31,000 has been spent, roughly.
Right.
Okay,
So the next in line is this insulation above
okay,
the stage.
about $20,000, okay.
And then, I don't even know if
And none of this stuff from here down has been approved yet. Mimi hasn't taken it to PVPA.
this, yes. It
She's
was-
approved that, okay.
No, she doesn't approve it.
She got it
does the
approved. She got it
paperwork.
approved. It is approved.
Today, Jane Pfister from Mass DEP emailed us and said, you're approved. You can go ahead with the work.
Okay, great.
So that leaves us $77,000,
Okay.
almost 78,000. We need to hurry up and spend. And I'm sorry, I'm saying it that way.
Okay.
We've already talked
And
so much.
where is the list of other projects?
You have it. It's
Okay.
about this thick.
Okay.
It's called the
And-
Hadley.
right,
Wait,
and I've
listen.
seen it. I've seen it.
Hadley, I'm
I-
gonna write it down for you.
No, I don't need to see it. I need to know which are the top 3, 2, 5 items that total the balance of what we have available to spend. What are those projects?
The next one is insulation. I mean, according to the proposals we've already gotten from somebody, just at Hopkins, we need $100,000 worth of insulation.
Okay.
Well, we can afford 78,000 basically. So I'm saying, get the proposal, let's hire the, do the paperwork and get this done. So
But we don't have the other, we only have $77,000 gonna cost $100,000, so somebody has to decide
No,
which
and
of
they'll
the.
decide how much of that work they can do for 77,000.
No, Chris will decide, or we will decide which is the higher priority and tell them to do it, right?
Well, we're trusting their expertise to come in and say,
Okay,
these are the most important
Okay.
places in this building to insulate.
okay,
I mean, this is what they do,
okay.
you know?
Okay,
And I
okay.
mean, I do trust Energy Source. If you pull out that energy reduction plan, it is very detailed. It tells how much energy we'll save, how much money we will save. It prioritizes what should be done during years 1 through 4 based on how much more efficient it will make the buildings.
Okay, and so, that's the only thing that hasn't been approved yet.
We don't even have a decent
We
proposal yet.
don't have a.
All we have so far is a proposal for this amount of money, very small.
Half of the 77.
Right, just a few places in, what do you call it, Hopkins. Here,
And
this is the proposal Kyle came up with. I told Chris, that is not good enough. Why would we just do that little bit when we already know we need more than that? Please get a better proposal. In fact, I already told him a month ago that our opinion was don't use AEG anymore because they say they're gonna do things, but they never show up and do the work. Get proposals for this work from somebody else. So I think that's why he reached out to somebody else for above the stage, and I'm like, I know you have a lot on your desk, but as long as they're gonna be there this summer, would you please get a proposal for what is the next thing, what are the next things that need to happen in the building, which we already know, it's insulation. But let's see what Energy Source says and tell them this is how much money we can spend right now.
And all the more reason to see if we can get Chris to come into this next
Okay.
meeting and to see what we can do to move this along.
Okay, thank
do
you.
we want Energy Source, this company, to come in and and also tell us what the next steps are?
Well, first, Chris is the contact. You know, when we first were becoming a green community meeting, or green communities town, we had this big meeting with all these different people here, and it was decided who would be the contact people. Who would be the contact people for the schools? Who would be the contact people for the other municipal buildings? And it was Chris Desjardins, because he's the finance director, and Gary Berg. So they are the ones who contact Energy Source or whoever. We have a list, I don't know if you remember, but we have a list from Eversource of preferred vendors, like they've already been vetted. And then I kind of pushed on John Pepidus, and I'm like, look, you know, AEG isn't doing crap for us, please. You know, he
Yeah.
said, I can't really recommend anybody. He said, you know, I'm not allowed to do that, but I can tell you who I've heard people like. And so he named off 4 different companies, and I passed that on to Chris Desjardins when I met with him a couple months ago. And I encouraged him, you know, please get proposals from somebody besides AEG. We need to get this work done. And so, you know, and I mentioned Energy Source because they did this amazing plan for us. Like, they've already been in there, and they already have in their records what they think our buildings need.
Okay.
And if you read it, it's
Okay.
pretty comprehensive.
And are we under any kind of bidding requirements?
No.
Okay.
No, we don't need to get bids. It's just up to him. Get the proposals, choose the one you like the best.
It's up to
kind-
Chris.
Yeah, and I try to stay in that with him. You know, like, I've asked him repeatedly, and he was really good about it for a while. Whenever he got a proposal, I would get a copy of it. And then I would come back to you guys and say, here's what's going on. But all that was with AEG, and nothing was going on. It was just like, anyway, so I feel like I'm repeating myself
No,
here.
well, it's, you know, it's a lot to talk about, and I appreciate you explaining it, and,
I mean, I think, why don't you take
I
this
mean,
with you,
I
so
would
you
say
have
that
an idea
if
of
this
what.
is- that, you know, if you have a problem with AEG, that's a problem. If you think they're not competent
They're
or
not.
fit, then that's fine. But just the simple fact that they proposed some insulation that was only half of the money we had to spend, I wouldn't necessarily stop if they were a reputable, real company that does real work. I wouldn't stop there. I would just say, fine, let's do that, and then let's regroup and do the rest of it.
I don't think they'd ever get around to it.
And that's your
I
good,
mean,
and
they
you've
were
been
gonna do
following this.
insulation last summer
Yep,
and just never showed up.
yep, okay.
And then he comes back and says, oh, it's like he's stupid. He says, oh, we have to do air sealing first.
But they did that now.
Now they've done that.
Okay, good.
But then instead of coming back and saying, okay, you've got 78,000 basically that you can spend of the 100, you know, our original proposal, how about we do this much and get the money spent? Boom, boom, boom. Like, do as much insulation as we can afford. No, he comes back with this. Like, what are you thinking? Like,
We need to talk to Chris about this.
yeah, right. So I've already said to Chris, please get a proposal also from Energy Source
Yeah.
for the balance of this money, how it should best be spent, because we need to get it done so we can get on to the next stage
Yeah.
of grant money and stuff. Besides, it's dragging.
Okay.
It's not just spend the money. We want the work done on these
Right.
buildings to make them more efficient. I mean, that's the
Right.
whole
That's the
idea
point.
here.
Right.
So, anyway.
Well, this is all very helpful.
Why don't you take this?
Okay, thank
Because
you.
in my opinion, this is a very good proposal. I mean, we had to beg AEG to give us all this detail, you know, and,
This is from AG as
No.
well?
no, this
That's
is from,
from
I'm
Energy
sorry
Source.
they don't have
Oh, there you go,
a
okay.
better letterhead on it. That's from Energy Source.
And it's also for just $19,000.
This is for the stage. I wrote it up here
Okay,
above the
good.
stage.
Okay, all right.
And also it's
Okay.
identified down here.
Okay, great.
So where are we
And this has
on,
been approved and we can go on this?
Yep.
Okay.
where are
That
we
was
on the agenda now?
Topics, that's next agenda.
Okay.
Public comment.
So, we want Chris Desjardins at our next meeting.
Great.
It sounds like you already have quite a bit for the next meeting, especially if Chris can make it.
That's just my crazy notes. If you pull out the energy reduction plan, I don't know if you ever print it, it's thick, it's like this.
No, I've seen it.
And take the time to read through that.
No, I've looked at it.
Okay,
I just
it
want to know.
gives you a really good
I just want to know
idea
what the
of
top of the list is, because we can't do it
what needs
all.
to happen. And that's what I've been trying to get them to do. Like, come on, already. So, yeah, the more people in on it, the better. And if you want to be included on the emails,
Oh, yeah, I would like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to have a million more questions for you.
okay, thank you.
That might be a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll add you. And then hopefully
Public comment?
No one here.
okay, so we should end. Anybody want to move that we adjourn the meeting?
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second it?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, 8:07.